So yes, I have always been very passionate about health. Since I was young, I have always dreamed of becoming a doctor. I mean, I still do, but I'm thinking of other options now. So I've always been interested in health. I've always been interested in, how we can better our lives through improving our health. And then I thought about health sciences at first. I got into it for a bit. I took courses, but I realized I'm not. Health sciences is more on the statistics side, like more on data. I personally, I like studying the knowledge. However, I also like to know where or how I can apply these knowledge that I have learned, that I have studied, into a tangible result. I would like to see my knowledge being applied to something and makes a difference in other people's life or in my life too. So that's why I went into global health and nutrition thinking that, hey, I came from Indonesia. I'm Indonesian. There are so many problems that are easily fixed, like malaria, it's still there. Tuberculosis, it's still there, but it's very easy to cure. So there are so many gaps that still needs to be filled, like makanya I was very interested in global health and nutrition because I came from a developing country and then I studied in a developed country. So that gave me two perspectives to think on. And the nutrition side is that every time I look back to my childhood, I realize, wow, I guess Indonesian diet is not as healthy as it should. And there's so many. Every time we're in nutrition class, there's Indonesia has always been the example of a hidden hunger or malnutrition. And then when I went back to Indo, I did a research program, the IPB. That's when I realized this is why malnutrition is still existing in Indonesia, is because there's just that hidden hunger is so big that it needs to be fixed. And that's kind of why I got into global health and nutrition, is because yes, I still want to be in healthcare field. However, I also want that tangible results to be seen. So I hope that answers the question. I guess karena global health is it's a new, and sorry, I wouldn't say new, it's an emerging field that's very, very niche. There's only a handful of people who know what global health is, who are working in the field. So the challenges to work in global health is because it's very small. They would only want very qualified professionals to work because they have very big tasks to take on. So mereka banyak mau orang yang punya at least master's degree, or even if you're a PhD, that's even better. That opens up a lot more opportunities for you to get a job in that field, and especially if you've done research, that's a plus, and that's what people will always look for, is so at least a master's degree. So undergrad S1 sekarang semua orang udah punya. They are looking for that specific individual who will take it further. Yeah, that's the challenges, karena it's really hard to be working in a paid profession in that field. If you're an undergrad like me, or if you're just starting out, you want to learn what is global health, if you want to just expose yourself in it, you can volunteer. And there's so many NGOs and nonprofit organizations who open this volunteer positions. Yeah.
So what would be your advice, Sasha? Because obviously people need to start somewhere, right? Yeah. When they have completed the undergrad degree, would you recommend them to pursue a higher degree right away? So like a master and eventually PhD, even if necessary? Or is it better to get some work experience first and then maybe go back to study again? Or what would be your advice? in this case?
If you, for the second part of the question, whether you want to pursue master's or PhD, that's a separate story. But I would say if I've known this 5 years ago, I would have said to myself, get volunteer experiences as much as you can, but volunteer at the right organizations, right places, because volunteering gives you so much exposure to how working in that field. You get a feeling of, okay, what are the tasks that needs to be done? Who are the people who are doing these tasks? What do they do? And then from then on, you build a relationship. You find a mentor that can guide you, that you can also share your thoughts, your doubts, because 100% of the time, you're not the only one feeling that. So speak to an alumni, get a volunteer, but and network. Network is very important. And email a stranger and then say that, hey, I would love to chat with you about your profession. There's this anecdote that I would like to share. Before I moved to Toronto, I was emailing up. I literally was emailing like 20 different NGOs to ask them, do you need help? Like, I am ready to volunteer. I just want to get my foot in the door. One of them replied to me, and then she said, well, the position is in Toronto, but it's not a paid position, or even if it's paid, it's gonna be very small, yada yada yada. And then I interviewed for the position. I didn't get the position, but a couple of months later, she said, hey, I remember you from the interview. We have a volunteer position that opened, and I thought about you. Would you like to take it? And then from there, you're making relationship. So never, and also I guess never be discouraged if you get a rejection. It's normal to get rejected, but the point is you have to keep going, because you could be one step closer to where you want to be. You just don't have to give up, you know.
The university transfer program, so BC offers the smoothest college to university transfer system in Canada. So this transfer system between colleges to universities are it's BC owns program. It's this kind of transfer program is not happening in other provinces. I think it's a little bit more open now with other provinces. But the smooth transition where you can do 1 year at college and then start your second year at BC at universities, that's like in BC, because we have our own system. Because in Canada, the education system is provincial, so every province has its own system. It's not like in Indonesia where it's like one whole country has one Ministry of Education. So over in Canada, education is actually provincial. It's not federal. It's not governed by the whole country. So that's the interesting part, right? So these are the program areas that you can do: arts, business, communication, computer science, engineering, or science. So basically you can do 1 year, and then you can do 3 years at major university and you get a bachelor degree, or you can also do 2 years at Columbia College, 2 years at major universities and get your bachelor degree. So you have two options. Some people like to do 1 year transfer at the second year, or you can do 2 years and transfer and the third year. So if these are the examples of some of the universities that our students have transferred. I think more and more in recent years, we have more students transferring outside of BC. Majority of students will transfer to BC universities, especially University of British Columbia. I think majority of our students transfer to UBC. SFU is also very popular, but it's I think most of our students go to UBC. So these are the two big ones that are like in Vancouver, the two big universities. We do have University of Victoria also, that is also a very good university. Some students also transfer to Victoria. We do have more and more students transferring out of the British Columbia, the province of British Columbia. For example, University of Alberta is getting quite popular. They do take credits from us also. University of Toronto every year accept quite a bit of our students also. The only thing that we need to kind of emphasize here is if you are transferring within BC, if you're transferring your courses to UBC or SFE or UVic, we can guarantee that all your credits will be transferable. Like, let's say you take 52 credits at Columbia College. All these 52 credits will follow you to UBC or SFU. But if you are transferring outside of BC to University of Toronto, for example, or University of Alberta, we cannot guarantee that these 52 credits that you take will all follow you to the university. They might not take all the credits. They will take majority of the credits, but you probably will lose like 3, 6, 9, or 12 credits. We don't know. So it depends on the university. So that's the only thing that we have to emphasize to students.